Welcome to Building Approval Workflows in Dex. In this module, we'll cover how to set up and manage approval workflows, ensuring that expense claims, cost, and sales invoices are properly approved before they're processed. Without a structured approval process, managing multi-user businesses can be slow and inconsistent. Manually chasing approvals means back and forth, potential errors, and lost time. Dex approval workflows eliminate these inefficiencies by adding an extra layer of control before ensuring documents are finalized, ensuring they're reviewed by the right people at the right time. Building approval workflows are a powerful tool in your business. With approval workflows, businesses can ensure that any cost, sales, or expense claims items are validated before they impact financial reports, creating more control. Approvals act as a checkpoint, helping to reduce errors and improve fraud prevention. Whether you need a single sign-off for small expenses or multi-level approval for high-value invoices, workflows can be tailored to your needs. There are two key approval workflows. In Simplified Cost Control with Expense Claims, you learned how to set up approval workflows for expense reports. In this module, we will walk through how to create cost approval workflows. Each user in Dex can be assigned a manager. This person is responsible for approving documents before they're published to the accounting software. User managers are set from the Users page in the lower left-hand side of Dex. Select User to view the list of the current users in the account. To review or assign a manager per user, click Manage, then Edit User Details. This will open a pop-up window to select their manager from the drop-down list. Approval workflows ensure that documents cannot be published or exported until they've been fully approved, adding a layer of validation before financial data is finalized. By setting up approval workflows, you add structure, reduce risk, and create a smooth approval process without chasing emails or risking errors. Now, let's go step by step through how to set up an approval workflow in Dex. We'll show you by creating a cost approval workflow to better manage supplier invoices. From Business Settings, select Approvals and click Create Workflow on the top left. Enter a workflow name and, if needed, a description to clarify its purpose. This helps you differentiate workflows if you have multiple approval setups. Next, complete the drop-down choices under Apply Approvals to. Start by selecting the item type from costs, sales, or expense claims. In this example, we would select costs to ensure this workflow applies to supplier invoices and other purchase documents. You have the flexibility to specify which document types and users are subject to the approval process by selecting the subject, document owners, document types, categories, suppliers. Once you've defined which documents you want the approval process assigned to, it's time to build the flow. Under Create Approval Flow, build the stages of approval you want these documents to go through. Your approval process will run in the order that you define for each stage. Select the approvers, condition, and amount, if applicable. For example, you can create an approval workflow that requires all invoices, regardless of their amount, to be approved by a specific approver from the drop-down menu, or you can set thresholds that trigger approvals only for invoices that are above a certain amount. Sometimes you need multi-level approvals. If this is the case, click Add Stage and build additional approval workflows. Perhaps you want to assign an additional approver, such as a department head, or set additional workflows for invoices over 5,000. To finish your approval workflow, decide if you would like to toggle Auto Publish on, and when done, select Save. Your approval workflow is now live and ready to streamline the invoice approval process. When a new document that matches the approval workflow is added, it will trigger this approval flow, and a button called Request Approval will display in the inbox. The Request Approval button can be clicked either by the accountant or by the user who uploaded the document. Once the Request Approval button is clicked, the document will move to the Approvals tab. The assigned approvers receive a notification via email or in the Dex mobile app and can accept the document either from the Approvals tab or directly from the item detail page. Once the document has been approved, it can be published or exported. Dex makes it easy to help you move invoices through the approval process. If you need to make adjustments to any workflow after it's been created, simply go to the Approvals page in the settings and select the workflow you want to update. From here, you can add or remove approvers, change conditions, or adjust auto-publish settings as needed. If a workflow is no longer needed, you can remove it entirely by clicking delete. Just keep in mind that removing a workflow will stop any pending approvals from being processed. By setting up structured approval workflows, you ensure that every invoice or receipt is properly reviewed before it hits your financials. Creating approval processes can help to keep things moving in your business, but not every expense or invoice needs an approval. Let's look at a handful of examples of how you might want to structure approval workflows. Small, low-risk expenses, such as office supplies under 100, can be auto-published without approval to save time. High-value invoices, such as purchases over 5,000, should require approval to prevent unplanned spending. Expenses in high-risk categories like travel or entertainment should be approved before reimbursement. Create an approval workflow to signify whether a sales invoice has been paid and can be processed by the bookkeeper. The key is finding the right balance between automation and oversight. Let's look at how to structure workflows for efficiency. Follow these best practices when setting up an approval workflow. Step 1. Set a default approval threshold so only expenses over a certain amount require review. Step 2. Assign multiple approvers for high-risk expenses like equipment purchases or contractor payments. Step 3. Apply category-based approvals to control spending on things like marketing or software subscriptions. By structuring your workflow strategically, you ensure that important documents are reviewed while routine transactions move through efficiently. Approvals should evolve as the business grows. It is important to regularly review your clients' active approval workflows to make sure they align with current business needs. Adjust approval thresholds as business expenses change. For example, if you originally required approval for expenses over 250, but realize it's slowing things down, you may want to increase it to 500. You can monitor items by reviewing their history. To view an item's history, open the item detail page and select the tab History. This will show you the approval stages and edits made on these documents. If a workflow is no longer relevant, remove it to prevent unnecessary approval steps. By refining approval workflows over time, you can maintain maximum efficiency whilst ensuring full financial control. Now that you have structured approval processes in place, you're ready to confidently manage approvals for expenses and invoices indexed. To complete this module, you'll need to take specific actions within the product. This interactive task is part of your certification. Below the video, you'll find a list of steps to follow. Your progress will be tracked, so ensure you complete them before moving on.